So guys, today is a special day because later I am going to introduce you to one of my best friends, Mr. Justin Holland, who was the man who is responsible for pushing me to create Mind's Eye status. So all of this content on YouTube, on Instagram, all of it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that man. And we're gonna go have dinner with my lovely wife. We're going for a walk right now in the park, and we're gonna record a podcast later tonight. So stay tuned. All right, here we are. Welcome to Dubai, my friend.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Guys, for those of you listening to the podcast, not the YouTube version, I'm sitting here with one of my best friends in life, Mr. Justin Holland, who is visiting Dubai from Sydney, Australia. And we go way back. And I just want to start off by saying that this is the man who is responsible for all of this. And what I mean by all of this is he is the one that encouraged me, that pushed me, that motivated me to start Mind's Eye Status, to start my coaching business, which led me here to Dubai, which led me to travel around the world, which led me to meet my dream woman and to create my dream business. So we'll just turn this into a conversation, bro. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want to do
no,
any filming.
I greatly appreciate that. And it's amazing to see how far you actually come as well. Especially seeing you at a point of your life where you're trying to discover who you are and what you wanted to do or what you wanted to pursue in life. And at the time, you wanted to be a psychologist.
Yeah, tell them the story of the coffee that we had that led to this. So we were hanging out and spending a lot of time studying social dynamics and personal development together. But tell them the story of
Yeah, it
how
was
this idea came
interesting
up.
because at the time I was doing a collab or co-hosting with Juliana Gonzalez on Millennial Success podcast. And Shargo was keeping an eye on the content and he really loved what we were doing. And he was trying to figure out a time in his life what he wanted to do. And he wanted to meet up for coffee. And obviously, knowing Sharko and loving Sharko, I always make time for him.
And I was working a 9 to 5 at that time as well.
You were.
Yeah, and I was sick and bored of it. It was a very safe, secure, well-paying job, but I was just bored out of my mind. It was during COVID as well. It was right before they did the lockdown, so we could still meet for coffee.
That's right.
So I reached out to you. Let's grab a coffee, Justin.
And I remember you were saying, like, Justin, I just want your opinion on this. And I'm thinking about starting my bachelor's in psychology. But when I saw there's like a twinkle in your eyes, like there was so much more to you than just studying psychology and knowing our journey in the past where we were into real social dynamics, that's where his real passion was. And we were trying to sit down and figure it out together and dig deep to him discovering that he wanted to become a social dynamics coach at the time before he became a communication coach. And it was a touching moment. Like, we're telling it like it was like a quick conversation, but it was a good hour talking about it and diving deep in order for him to discover he was meant for that path.
And let me tell you guys what Justin actually said to me, because this is very important if you want to be a good friend. You need to have friends who challenge your beliefs. So I said to you, I want to be a psychologist. You said why? Very important question. I said, because I want to help men. It was mainly men at the time. I said, I want to help men become more confident in their communication skills. And then you said, well, do you want to be a clinical psychologist for that? And I said, I don't know about clinical psychologists, maybe. And then you said, why do you want to help men? And I said, because I want them to experience the same level of social freedom that I have, the level of social confidence that I've developed over the years, going from very, very insecure to where I was at the time. I want to share that gift. And you said, well, why don't you share it anyway? Why do you have to go to uni for 5, 6 years, follow some agenda, and then work in a clinic when you could just share it the way that you want to share it without restrictions? I said, what do you mean, Justin? And he said, you could be a coach. And at that time, some of our biggest inspirations, which is how we actually ended up connecting, were people from Real Social Dynamics, which was actually a dating pickup company that taught you how to talk to women, basically. And I thought only those famous people could do that. He said, no, you can literally start an Instagram and become a coach, but you need the experience and knowledge for it. Do you have the knowledge? I said, yes. He said, do you have the experience? I said, yes. He goes, then the only thing getting in your way is yourself. And that was one of the most profound aha moments of my life because that's when I took a step back and I was like, oh my God, this is a reality, that a potential reality.
I remember when you had that click in your mind and you realized this is it, this is exactly what I want to do. And then the next day you said, Justin, I have a great idea. I'm going to call my business Mind Eye Status. What do you think about it? And obviously you loved it because it suits you, because you were a spiritual human being and we like talking about like the third eye, the pineal glands, and being able to dive deep into that. And that had you all over.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, the name just made sense, bro.
It
It
did.
was it was me and my brother Hano who came up with it that night after we had the coffee. I was trying to come up with a name and I thought, by the way, this is for those who want to know what mind's eye status actually means, by the way. It was something spiritual, but something to do with social skills as well. All right. I thought third eye socials, nah, that's too spiritual. Mind's eye socials, not bad. Mind's eye status. Wait a second. Mind's eye status. It just rolled off the tongue. And the philosophy behind it is if you want to elevate your status socially, professionally, financially, even spiritually,
Mm,
if you want to elevate your status, you need to see it in your mind's eye before anything.
it's true.
Mind's eye status. And since then, I started to record content. Justin was helping me, and we would have weekly coaching sessions where he would teach me how to create an online business because that's what you did as well. You were coaching
Yes,
at the time,
that's right.
and you gave me step by step. Now, let me tell you something. Our foundation for our clients is something called the 5 pillars of communication. You've heard me say it a million times.
100%.
The reason I created the 5 pillars of communication was because one of my first assignments, in fact, the first assignment that Justin gave me, I don't know if you remember this, was you said, Shako, create your first 5 modules. So I went home and I thought, what fundamental elements of communication have allowed me to transform? It was presence and energy, it was body language and tonality, it was learning how to read people, it was building connections, and it was confidence and authenticity. Boom, the 5 pillars of communication. And that was about 6 years ago. To this day, to this day, the most impactful part of my course is still the 5 pillars of communication.
That's phenomenal. And I still remember I spoke to you about even just start training people for like a discount or even for free. And that's when you started training your friend Jamie.
Yeah, that's right. I work with Jamie for free, and I had a few pro bono clients, and then I had my first client for like $900. Literally, coached them for like 5 weeks for $900, ridiculously cheap. But it was as cheap as it was. It gave me evidence that my system worked because Jamie and some of my friends and first clients, they started to get results with these 5 pillars. And
Mm.
those 5 pillars evolved into what is now a big movement that we have. We have 62 clients currently. No,
That's amazing.
six. We have 64. We have 64 clients right now. We have a coach in the program apart from me. So there's 2 coaches. We have 8 staff
Hmm.
members. We have a full team. And it's been running for the past 5, 6 years. And we've had our challenges over time, but the consistency and grit that I've had, to be honest, and people such as yourself have supported me with it. It's allowed us to be consistent, to continue delivering the message to people like you listening and watching this. So I just want to say on this podcast, I said it to him a million times while we were having shisha upstairs. Thank you, bro. Thank you for being there for me.
No problems. And I thank you for always being there for me also. And it's amazing to see how far you've come. Like I said, 100 times already. And it kind of brought me back to the time when we were at that apartment in Canleyvale when you were about to move to Melbourne. and you're just trying to figure out how to pitch to your one-on-one clients. And we spoke about you coaching in groups.
Yeah. And that's created Diamond Eye.
That's where it created Diamond Eye, and then you started coaching people in groups, and you started to build some success there as well, where that was like your low ticket point, and then from there you had your one-on-ones, which was your high ticket point, which was like a good leeway for you to be able to generate those leads into higher clients as well.
Yeah, and the clients that we work with, it evolved dramatically over
Mm.
time as well. At first, we were attracting people from all walks of life, which was fine, but it was too broad. Whereas now, our clients are not exclusively, but mainly executives, CEOs, very, very successful entrepreneurs making millions, tens of millions of dollars every year. And they come to me and they come to Daniel, our coach, seeking advice and feedback.
Mm.
And I think that's something that you and I have in common, which I'd like to talk about a little bit as well, which is
Absolutely.
having a student mentality. I'm not afraid. While we were catching up before recording this, we were talking about your next steps and what you want to do. And you were saying, yeah, Shaka, you know what? I'm willing to seek your counsel, seek your advice, and seek your feedback, which you haven't said to me in a while because you were in a different place. And I was the one saying to you, Justin, I need your help. I need your help and your advice. And what we have in common, and this is so important for anybody listening that wants to achieve a decent level of success in their lives and a decent level of meaning,
Mm.
something that's meaningful, is you have to humble yourself.
You do.
You have to be a student. I remember literally we were in your house in the bungalow at the back where you would have your whiteboard there. I would be sitting on your couch, literally with my notebook in my hand and asking you questions and learning from you. So what's your experience been like into because by the way, we didn't even give you a proper introduction. Justin here is a Commonwealth wrestling athlete. He is a champion. He is I don't even know how many I mean you're a what was it, the Oceanic champion or
Yes.
Asia champion?
So do you want me to be
Yeah, yeah, go
specific
ahead.
with my qualifications?
Give
Okay.
us the
So
most
I
arrogant,
am
overly confident.
a silver and bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Championships. I'm a two-time Commonwealth Games athlete. I won over 17 Australian national titles. I've won 3 New Zealand titles. I'm a seven-time Oceania champion, and I've won several other international tournaments and many more gold medals that I don't even remember, to be honest, because it's been like a good like 15 years of competition. Like when you do the same thing and you go through the competitions, they tend to overlap each other. So
That's true. There you go. I'm glad you did that because I would not be been able to remember all those achievements. But this man right here, he's not just my friend. He's my friend and brother first and foremost. But he's also an absolute beast. He's a champion and one of the most committed, dedicated, disciplined individuals that I know. Which is why I constantly do seek his counsel, even to this day. So, what's your experience been like as a champion, as an athlete, uh, as a student,
I've always approached everything in life as if you are a white belt in life,
as a what?
a white belt in life,
As a white belt.
a white belt.
Got it.
So even if you become a black belt in whatever you're doing, if you have that ego behind you where you're not willing to humble yourself, you're only going to see a narrow picture
It's true.
where you want to be able
You're
to see a
restricting
broader picture.
yourself.
Exactly. And you do need to humble yourself and put on your white belt to be able to learn because there are people that are going to be more successful than you. And you might be feeling like you're the champion in the room, you're the best in the room, but there's always going to be someone around the corner that can take you out. And as if that is wrestling, that's in life as well, or your career. So you need to be able to prepare for those opportunities. And I find even business is a lot like sports where you need to have a strong team. You need to have a good coach that has achieved the things that you'd like to achieve, just so they can help fast track your progress. And from there, it's just being able to set yourself a goal or even plan ahead for you to follow that path and get stuck into the process of things rather than getting stuck too much on the outcome. Because when you get too stuck on the outcome, I find you get attached to the outcome.
That's what that's where most people get stuck, I feel. They actually get stuck on the outcome. We were talking about this literally tonight.
Yes.
I mean, you can if if you're deciding, for example, what goal you should achieve, if you're so stuck on how you're going to get there, you're not going to choose. You're going to have decision making fatigue. And very, very often, I have clients in the context of social dynamics who say to me, Shako, I don't know why, but some people aren't being as open to me, or I speak a certain way and they don't react how I want. And I say it's because you're attached to an outcome.
Hmm.
It's because you're expecting. And when you're attached to an outcome, you no longer move freely because you have expectations.
I agree. And I also think people try to perceive themselves in a certain way. And one thing a lot of people want to see is that you're human. And obviously, we all make mistakes. We all achieve great things, but we need to be able to connect with people on a deep level where we show that human side to us. And that's one thing that makes us relatable to people is by being
Absolutely.
able to do that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm recording more of these YouTube videos and podcasts in a more natural way like this, because I find that if I'm acting too polished, that's exactly what it is. It's an act, and
Exactly.
there's too much of that on Instagram. The best performing reels that I have, and you guys listening can confirm this for me, how you feel about this. But my best performing reels and even YouTube videos are the ones that are unscripted, totally spontaneous, and totally natural as well. They're the ones that always go viral, funnily enough. And even if they don't go viral, they always attract the right attention.
I agree.
People are drawn to authenticity.
100% agree. And I feel like it comes down to God sometimes putting that desire in your heart that you need to just speak your truth.
Yeah.
And when you speak your truth, that's when it connects with people because that message was meant for someone or multiple people.
Wow. I love that. So when you feel the drive and the pull to share a message, it's because somebody was meant to hear it.
Yes.
Wow. Guys, keep that in mind next time you hesitate to speak your mind. That is beautiful, bro. I'm going to
Yeah.
keep that in mind myself. I'm going to remember that.
It's something that I've been reflecting on for some time now, and you know when God is speaking to you.
Yeah, you can feel it in your heart.
You can.
Definitely, definitely. Let me ask you, because you're a world-class coach, what is the importance of having a coach in your life? Whether it's for fitness, communication, business, whatever it is.
You're a role model to your students or your clients,
A role model.
a role model, and you need to be able to pave the way by showing them. And I always see this meme of a fat coach and Mike Tyson. And from there, if you are putting the work with them and you are leading the way by showing the results by your actions, your clients or your students will feel inspired by you and they want to follow the same path.
I think you misunderstood my question.
So,
I'm saying, what's the benefit? What's the importance of having a coach?
okay,
Why do people need a coach?
I agree. And I feel it's a form of mentorship. And if you have a coach, they're able to pinpoint, especially a good coach, you can differentiate a good coach compared to a great coach is someone who's able to simplify the process for you, is able to
That's so true.
pinpoint your
That's
mistake
so true, yeah.
and help target your strengths more and be able to make it flourish.
Simplify the process. You know what? I'm glad that you said that, because that is one piece of feedback that I always get from clients. It's like, Shako, I love how simple you make it seem, how easy you make it sound.
Yes,
And the best business coaches for me, they've always simplified things massively. And
absolutely.
they pinpoint and they notice your flaws, you mentioned.
It's true. And you want to be able to make it in a way where it's relatable and it's at like sometimes that fifth grade level what people speak about.
Yeah.
And if you are able to break it down in that way rather than a lot of professionals using complex words that people don't really understand, they can't connect with you.
Mm.
And from
Trying to
there,
sound smart.
exactly. And they feel like that goal they want to achieve is far out of reach where they can't achieve it. But when you're able to simplify the process for them by breaking it down in a way for anyone to follow, that's when the real success comes in as a coach, as well as your clients getting the results that they desire.
That is so true. I love that. Yeah, it is. It is very much a process of simplification. That way, it's digestible for the students, and they don't have to go through years and years of learning it. They just fast track their process and their progress massively. Um, I'm gonna ask you for some advice here, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to take advantage of you on this podcast. My biggest bottleneck right now, I would say, is myself in terms of habits. So I have a few habits that I do pretty much daily, which is like prayer, meditation, um, and planning and journaling. But it's sporadic. And what I mean by that is I usually do it during the day, but it's always at like right before I go to sleep or randomly, or I rush it and it's not like properly systemized. What advice would you have? What do you think is missing from my lifestyle?
Okay. What do you find is the biggest struggle for you?
Maybe because it's Ramadan and I'm fasting, but I would say a little bit of energy.
A little bit of energy. Okay. And where do you feel like you need to put more focus on
My mornings.
your mornings? And do you feel you don't give that time to God, or you don't give that time to yourself, or a certain task that you're kind of pushing off for later in the day and then you never end up getting it done, or you just get it done but you don't complete it to the point that you're satisfied?
All right. Well, let's use an example because there's so many habits. Let's use the example of reading.
Okay.
I want to read way more than I currently do. I have a book I've been reading for months, bro. I still haven't finished it. So, reading, for example, is something I would like to do in the mornings, actually, not at night. I want to read in the morning for 30 minutes at least, and I'm not giving it the time.
Okay, so I don't know what your routine is, except for like obviously being a Muslim man, that you focus on prioritizing your prayer life,
Yeah.
like 5 times a day, and you would be focusing on praying first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you have your daily habits you do every morning.
Yeah, I have my meditation and my daily planning.
I think like after meditation, right before your daily planning, you could read your book.
See, simplifying.
That's it.
What you're referring to is habit stacking.
Yes.
Habit stacking, for those listening, is if you want to. That is genius, bro. I didn't even think about that. So simple as well. Habit stacking is the idea that you simply place a habit that you want to implement on top of a habit that you're already doing. For example, if you're praying 5 times a day, like I am, after every prayer, you read 5 pages of your book.
That's it.
Or if you're meditating every day, after the meditation, that's when you read. So your habit stacking, it becomes much, much easier. That's interesting.
It is, and it's like working out in the gym, right? Like you can't go in and do a solid 2 hour session and squat 150 kilos in your first session.
That's true.
You need to build onto that. If that's reading a page, and
You
then
work
from
your way up.
there you work your way up to 2 pages, 3 pages, 5 pages, and then continue on from there.
Yeah.
And it's being able to form those habits by progressively trying to build the muscle in order to achieve
Yeah.
that success.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that a subject that I really love, and I got this from Owen Cook, is the the idea, the subject of success principles. In fact, I started my own Truth About Success series. Literally, I haven't released it yet, but I'm going to start talking about success principles because I realize that as I grow older, and I'm not old, but as I do grow older and as I do attain some success, I have realized that success and failure is so predictable
It is.
in people. I meet people on a weekly basis. I'll give you an example, bro. I talk to people every single week, mostly my clients. Sometimes I take consultation calls where people are interested in joining Diamond Eye, my program, and I have a chat with them for free for like an hour. And before the call, they even commit to saying, look, if this matches my goals, I'll invest in the program, I'll invest in myself and go for it. Very often people join Diamond Eye, very, very often.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then, and by the way, we have a strict process for who can actually join the mentorship because it's
That
for
makes
people who are very serious. We qualify people very strictly. But sometimes I have people get on a call and say, I want to achieve this chakra, I want to achieve that, I want to achieve this goal financially, professionally, etc., etc., etc. And it all sounds amazing. But then when it comes time to make a decision, oh, I need to talk to my wife. Or, oh, you know what? Maybe in about a week or in a few weeks' time. Even though on the call they told me, no, I need to do it now. On the call, they said it's important for me now, and I want to be assertive. I want to be the decision maker in my family, take responsibility away from my wife, things like this. And the reason why I actually see that as an indicator of failure, and I know that sounds harsh, is
No.
because let's say as a 40-year-old man, if you don't have the ability to make a decision for yourself, how the hell are you going to make huge life-changing decisions for your business or for your team or for your family? A lack of decisiveness, that's the indicator of failure to me.
And I think the biggest drive for them is fear.
Yeah,
Fear of the unknown.
yeah.
And
The
being
fear of
in,
change.
yeah, like a lot of people are scared of that change. And it's that famous quote on Coach Carter. It's not our darkness, but it's our lightness, our light that most frightens us.
Absolutely.
And it intimidates all of us, but it's being able to make that commitment and take the action, even though you're scared to do it. And when you feel like you are terrified on chasing that goal, you need to pursue it because if you don't,
You're just in the same spot.
you're in the same spot and you're going to feel sorry for yourself over and over again.
You're going to keep feeling sorry for yourself, self-pitying and blaming people.
100%.
Blaming people for your failure, for your lack of success. And on the flip side, a clear sign of success is decisiveness.
That's right.
It's somebody that knows exactly what they want. You can tell a lot about a person from the way that they order food
Yes.
on a menu. How long do they need before, like literally when we were upstairs, I said, I'll get the lemon mint, and you're like, I'll have the same. You didn't even look at the menu. Like, I'll have the same. Sounds good, I'll do it. If you ever go out for dinner with somebody, or if you're trying to suss out one of your friends and figure out how successful they are, you can literally go to a restaurant with them and just see how they order food. Again, it sounds so simple to the untrained eye, but for those who get it, those who are at a high level, they recognize other people who get it. You can just see it in the eyes.
You
It's
do.
in the energy. It's in the behaviors. Do they follow through?
I think something that will help your listeners a lot is imagine when you're old and you have grandkids. Would you want to say to them, I wish I did this? Or actually take the action and tell them what you have done? Doesn't matter if you failed, but you know what? You're giving it a go. You're putting all your eggs in that one basket. And you would be proud of yourself by being able to at least attempt taking the action and learn from it, and it may lead you to where you want to go.
Better than no action.
Exactly.
I respect somebody who is failing multiple times trying to start a business way more
Yeah.
than the successful executive who says they want to keep starting a business but never follows through.
That's right.
1,000 times more. Because at least you're trying.
Exactly.
When you go to the gym, if you see an overweight person working out, I respect that person so much.
I agree.
You're taking more action than the skinny guy at home who's lazy and doesn't want to work.
Yeah, I agree. And I find a lot of people don't know their why and their reasons behind they need to do something. Like, for example, if it's to be able to support your parents or support your family, your wife, and what is the actual drive that will help you to take the action? And if you feel like you need to ask your wife, your passion or your understanding of why you want to take action is not there. You don't understand it yet. It's your job to figure it out.
Absolutely. If you don't have a why, if you don't have a purpose and a vision pushing you, it's going to be very, very hard to implement any success principle, by the way. That's the first and most important step. I completely agree with you. And I see this place is getting more and more crowded. So I think we'll wrap it up there. But, brother, when you come back to Dubai, we'll link up again. I'll go on your podcast as well.
Oh, absolutely.
By the way, guys,
Be great to have you.
Justin has an incredible podcast called The Path Show, and it's on YouTube. I'll tag him. I'll put all these links below. You have any final comments for the listeners?
I just want to say it's amazing to see what you're doing. And we was talking about it earlier. I remember when he first reached about 20,000 followers and to 200,000 followers. I was so proud to see him succeed. And then the people we looked up to started following him. And one of them ended up having him on his podcast. And he is a testimony of his success. And if you want to achieve great things, listen to this man because he knows what he's talking about and he put in so much work behind the scenes that you don't even recognize.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you,
All
my bro.
good.
Appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Talk soon.